What's happening, everyone? My name is Pardon My Presence, and you are listening to the Pardon My Presence YouTube channel, where I address common issues from a unique point of view. It's also a place where I pardon a space for critical thought and analysis in today's society, where it seems that well-informed logical assessments are slowly becoming taboo. What's going on? So I want to get into this whole situation with Corey Holcomb and Zoe Williams. Now, a lot of people have spoken about this. This incident occurred about 2 weeks ago, where Corey and Zoe had pretty much a argument that got really low and below the belt, where they pretty much attacked each other, not physically, but they pretty much put themselves on blast, and it happened before everyone's eyes on their 5150 show that's on YouTube.
Tell you how I deal with shit. I don't like public beefs between brothers who appear to be on the same side. If you got a beef with each other, handle that shit over there. The public don't need to see that.
So that's bullshit.
That's how I do it.
You fought that drunk nigga in my motherfucking studio with no regards to my shit. He was drunk, you wasn't.
Right.
When it's on, nigga.
Yep.
So remember that. That hypocritical shit,
That's not
I'll call
hypocritical.
anybody on this shit. Am I fighting anybody?
But do you call yourself on your hypocritical shit?
I will.
Because
anybody can call me
You
out.
one of the most hypocritical motherfuckers we know.
I'm glad this happening. You the worst at it, my nigga.
I'm saying, we watch you, bro.
What do I do that's hypocritical?
Bro, you say, stand on this, stand on that. And then you don't. And then on the other real side, if we just having real conversation.
Because we finna get all this shit out, all this whole ass shit that I've been motherfucking taking up for. Let's get it all out today.
Right.
Let's go.
Now, I've been following them since the Foxhole days on Sirius Satellite FM, and I am a fan of both of them to some extent. Now, I personally have stopped watching the 5150 show maybe about 3 years ago, because I found that Corey can't get off of some of the topics that he discusses when it comes to homosexuality, when it comes to comics stealing his material. He seems to focus too much on those subjects, like he's somebody that's old and bitter. And it pretty much made the show a little bit uncomfortable to listen to in some cases. And you know, if we're going to talk about the same things all over and over again, it's time to move on, right? But he's added a few co-hosts here and there that made things interesting. And he has a dynamic with Zoe Williams on the show, which is the quote-unquote intellect. So all those things have happened, so on and so forth. That's the background of you know, the 5150 show. But what happened that day was Corey Holcomb had an issue with a former friend who was a comedian. They had a little bit of a beef, and Corey tried to squash the beef, and he thought it was squashed. And then later on, that person came publicly and disparaged Corey even more. And then Corey decided, in Corey's fashion, to go after the guy publicly. Now, the thing about Corey Holcomb is that he's an insult comic. He's a comic that has pretty much made a reputation off of insulting people's relationships, putting people on blast, exposing truths about relationships, about men and women. He's very good at it. I'll give him that. Although it can be lowbrow humor, but it does cut deep, because there's some truth to what he says and how he says it. And that's his niche. But what happened on this particular show was that Zoe Williams took it upon himself to tell Corey that Corey is a hypocrite. And that Corey is probably the most hypocritical person on the show. And you don't put your friend's business out there. All of that, granted, understandable. But the problem is that Zoe Williams spoke on a friendship that he doesn't know much about. And based on what he said at that moment, to Corey, it looked and appeared like he took a side with a man that he feels is now his enemy.
Hold on, let me say this. You taking up for Grady now.
Let me tell you
Want me
something.
to tell you why? Why you taking up for Grady?
Why the fuck am I gonna pick a side when we both wearing the same motherfucking jersey? That's how I look at it.
And the problem with that is that Zoe Williams lives in a glass house that has cracks all running throughout the walls, and the roof is leaking, and the front door ain't even locked. Just a dilapidated glass house. Because Zoe Williams is the man who has his own show by his own right, where he is a relationship expert. He is a guy who labels himself as, I won't say a guru, but someone who is intellectual, someone who, is very book smart, has a lot of knowledge, is all about introspection, self-reflection, self-awareness, self-improvement. But the problem with Zoe Williams is that he has a temper that he cannot control.
You knowing me, you could have managed that show better.
What show?
The one with Aries.
You're telling me what I could have managed better, and you jumped on a drunk nigga.
Absolutely, you could have did a better job managing the show. The show was out of motherfucking control.
Hey man, that's something.
Was it not?
This is what I think about the whole Barack Obama thing. I was under no
And keep in mind,
Shut the fuck up!
Ooh, you see that half red bone, light skinned nigga?
Hey, that motherfucker put hands on you, nigga, give you real black eyes.
Come on, don't do that, nigga.
And that's the truth, nigga.
Trust me, nigga. You could trust me.
I've had
nigga.
about enough of your shit. That's the truth, nigga. Shut the fuck up while
The
I'm
loudest
talking.
niggas are the light skinned niggas.
Yep.
That wish they could be black.
But that'll do that work, though.
Yo, I know. Go ahead with your
Okay,
little
let's
salt.
all-
And I'm not
Yeah.
drunk, nigga.
I know.
I don't drink, nigga. I'm very clear-minded.
Which means I'll fuck you up
Okay.
even more because I'm drunk, nigga.
But hold up.
He's gotten into fights with Louis Dix. He's gotten into fights with Freeze, another comedian. He's gotten into fights with Aries Spears, where that pretty much cost Corey $20,000 because Aries Spears sued Corey Williams, and Corey had to get a lawyer. And Zoe has not paid Corey back his money.
No matter who
That's
you
what
are.
always happens. It's who you talking to. Aries Spears is a bitch.
Okay, what that mean?
So you shouldn't have beat the bitch up just because he was talking crazy, Zoe.
But
and
guess
he
what?
ducked all the financial responsibilities that come with it.
Oh, so you want to talk hypocritical. How many times have I called you and said, hey man, when I hit my lick, I'm going to pay you that bread back. The last time we talked 2 weeks ago, did I tell you that?
Have I ever asked
And what
you
did
for
you
some
say?
bread?
But what did you say when I said that to you?
I don't need your bread, Zoe.
You said, hey man, don't worry about it. Ain't that hypocritical? You don't get in front of your motherfucking fans and say, hey man, this man came to me on numerous occasions and said, I'm gonna give you this bread back. Do you get in front of them and say that?
You said it with a bread.
Do you remember me talking to you 2 weeks ago?
I don't really remember, but I'm
When
saying,
I called you.
if you said it,
You don't
with a
remember
bread.
that? No.
It happened years ago. Zoe.
First off, you think that's a good question. That shit dumb. Dude, I said in the conversation that you acting like you don't remember I'm not Aries Spears. Nigga, I said, hey, when I hit this lick, I'm gonna give you this bread back. You said, don't worry about it.
Yep. 'cause
That's what you said.
That sound like me, because I don't need your bread.
But do you say the shit on the air? Oh,
I ain't never brought it up.
I put 20K down. I put 20K down.
Motherfucker, I did.
Yeah, you did.
From that hoe ass shit you did beating up a drunk nigga.
I don't think it was hoe ass shit, but Corey, let me.
Because he was talking, you supposed to be the voice of reason.
I am the voice of reason, but I'm a
Why
human
you lose
being.
your temper?
Because I lose my temper.
You lost your temper with Freeze.
I did, and we went outside and handled it like men.
You supposed to be the voice of reason.
I am the voice of reason, but guess what? Guess what, Corey? I can get pushed. My buttons can get pushed just like your buttons can get pushed.
My buttons can get pushed, but look, can't no drunk motherfucker make me come to nobody's studio and tear it up.
So I'm saying all this, people are like, well, who cares? No one cares about these guys. What's the point? This is the point I'm going to make, because I'm always going to relay it back to the common person in everyday life. When you're dealing with friends, if you owe a friend money, pay your friend back. Now, your friend is going to be a friend, right? And he's going to do the good friend gesture, which is, don't worry about it, it's alright. They're saying that because they're obligated to. They don't want to come off as that friend who wants you to pay him back. They don't want to come off as cheap or ungrateful. So they're going to say, don't worry about it, it's alright. They're going to say that. And you're going to hear it, but you have to ignore it. You can't say that, man, okay, don't worry, I won't pay it back. Because when the recession happens, when the pandemic, COVID-19 happens, and when money's low, that guy's going to look around at his bank account, look at the ATM, he can't take any money out, it's in negative, it's in an overdraft, and he's going to look at you, who's talking shit to you about you being the biggest hypocrite ever, and telling you how you should be a better friend, and he's going to look at you and say,
so if I'm a hypocrite, motherfucker, I be down, goddammit. I don't fuck with hypocrites. You the only motherfucking weak link I got, nigga. Trust me. I don't even fuck with niggas like you. It's just I keep you around because you got knowledge, nigga. But I don't have no weak niggas around me, no niggas who get mad and be ready to fight everybody because something is said they don't like. Mm-hmm. That's bitch behavior.
All of that, don't worry about paying me back. It comes to the forefront because you haven't paid the man back his money. Because whenever you're in debt with a friend, if you say you don't have to pay it back, he definitely wants your loyalty in return. You better be the best friend ever, or else he's gonna hold that $20K over your head for the rest of your life. You might have to provide him with some girls or something. Oh, your girlfriend has friends? You better call him first for the hookup. You have a link for free shoes at the Nike factory? You better call him first. You better make sure he's taken care of. And who wants to be under a man like that forever? You don't. So my advice to you is pay what you owe. Do not have a tab with any of your friends. And nor do you want to be the guy who is owed money from their friends. Because no matter how big and bad you think you are and how rich you are, the time will come when you need money and you look around at all these guys laughing in your face, cracking jokes, and you're going to be looking around like, these motherfuckers all owe me money. And if you ever mention it to them, they're going to look at you like, how dare you ask me? You said you didn't want it. And this is where friendships get strained. Now the other part to this is the fans' reaction to the whole thing. A lot of people were siding with Zoe, saying how Corey's out of line, Corey's acting like a bitch. Corey was pretty much out of line for telling Zoe he's the weakest link. And a lot of it could be true. I mean, Corey did go overboard, but I think a lot of people haven't looked at it from Corey's side because Corey, like Corey said, he is a mean comic, he's an insult comic. He comes off as a brood, whereas Zoe has the high-pitched voice, he's the intellectual. So it's always gonna appear like the bully's fighting a guy who can't really defend himself, right? But there's a couple of things that people missed, is that when Corey said Zoe's the weakest link, he's referring to Zoe was the only person on that show who isn't a comedian. And if you are someone who watches the show, you know that Zoe's jokes fall flat most times. Zoe doesn't participate in the freestyles, in the song parodies. Even though I found out recently that Zoe used to be a rapper, but he doesn't rap. All the other people are rapping, and he stays silent. Corey had to drive Zoe up to the studio for a radio show. A whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes were going on. All of these things are happening behind the scene, but another thing that happened behind the scene is that when Corey Holcomb needed Zoe to talk to his lawyer about the incident with Aries Spears, Zoe ducked those calls.
Zoe beat up Aries. Aries filed suit. I had a lawyer. The lawyer couldn't get in touch with Zoe. I was like, well, maybe you're just missing him. When the lawyer couldn't get in touch with Zoe, I tried to get in touch with Zoe. And I said, Zoe, hey man, help this lawyer out, man. Get back in touch with him or just write out a statement of what you think happened because, you know what I'm saying, I got to handle my business with this Aries shit.
Right.
Zoe ducked it. He would not do nothing. And this is the most embarrassing shit. When my wife said to me, why won't he do it? I thought that was your friend. I was like, what the fuck can I say? You know what I'm saying? This nigga won't do it.
Right.
And ever since then, I ain't gonna lie, my patience with him has been very low. I don't have patience for that. I'm like, nigga, you beat this nigga up. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I could sue you. But
Right.
guess what? You ain't got nothing for me to sue for.
So in other words, he didn't give Corey the money, and he also didn't help Corey with the information needed for him to fight that lawsuit. And Corey held that in until that day where it all exploded on him. And this is what we all saw for the first time. And whenever you do shit like that where people have to look out for you, people have to take care of you, they're going to look at you as a weak link. And I'm going to tell you a story because something happened like this to me where I was on vacation with a group of friends. This particular friend, he's older than me. He invited me to this vacation in the country where he's from. He has family there, all these different things. So he's the host. So I'm deferring to him. I'm looking to him for help. We all are. But this guy had a nerve to say to me, why do we always have to help you? Why do we always have to take care of you? When are you going to start doing things for yourself? This is what he said to me. He picked on me. Maybe because I was the youngest, but he picked on me. And I looked at him and I said to myself, whether he was right or wrong, this is how he sees me. This is how he views me. Now, he's had this approach with a lot of other people. He's had this type of style with other people. So a lot of it is projection as well. But there may have been some truth to the fact that I did come to him for help. But the fact that this is how this guy sees me. So this was my response. It wasn't to argue with him. It wasn't to plead. It wasn't to do any of that. I realized this at that point. That regardless of this guy, whether I believe he's my friend or not, he is not someone that I should be around. He's not anyone that I should ever come to for help. He's not anyone that I should confide in. And he is not a type of friend that you want if you want to maintain your pride and self-esteem as a man. And I removed myself from that situation. I stayed away from that person. And that moment was kind of like the fuel for my fire to do things on my own and to get things done on my own and do things without having to quote unquote ask for anybody's help. I was able to buy property on my own. I was able to flip that property, get a house, establish myself in a career without anybody's help, upgrade my income without anybody's help, solidified my spot as a man to me. And I showed to myself and to others if they were ever looking, but it wasn't about gloating or bragging to others. It was about me and my personal development, so that I understood that what this person is saying is not who I am, and that I can't be around people like this. And I did for self. So this is a defining moment for Zoe Williams, because when you get a friend, a quote-unquote friend, who says this to you in your face because you owe him $20,000, and with all the things that transpired, he doesn't look at you as a man. He looks down on you. You're beneath him because you placed yourself in that position. So
publicly, I owe Corey 20 grand for the motherfucking court case that he paid for. I'm gonna hit a lick and give him his money back publicly, whether he wants to accept it or not. That is what I'm told to do.
Nigga, you gonna give me $20,000?
I'm gonna give you 20 grand.
Why would you give me $20,000 if you got $20,000?
Because here's the thing. I said, when I hit a lick, what do you can't hear the whole motherfucking context of what I'm saying? When I hit a lick. Oh, so you think my lick ain't gonna come true?
I'm just saying, I don't believe you got the courage to give nobody $20,000.
That's because you don't know me really.
If you say that, I've been around you a long time, so.
Yeah, but you don't really know me.
Okay, well, I feel you. I ain't finna claim I know you. I'm just saying, I know what I've seen.
And the only way it's going to be rectified. And by the way, this particular friend, years later, I've come back. We're on equal footing, right? I wouldn't say we hang out like that, but we're cordial. And this is what Zoe has to do. This is pretty much a turning point. Zoe cannot come back to that show in the same circumstances. That money has to be paid. Because Corey said to the man, I don't believe that you have the courage to give anyone $20,000. And of all the things that he said, to me that hurt the deepest. Why? Because what he's saying is that, so you ain't shit. You don't have no money, nor do you have that much money to give to somebody else. To me, that was probably the most hurtful thing that was said. You don't have the courage to give anybody $20,000. And I'll tell you this right now, a lot of people were saying he should never get that money back. A lot of people were saying Corey's not a good friend. But at the end of the day, Zoe, you do owe that man because you cost that man that amount of money. Even if you didn't have $20,000, you could have offered to pay half of that, right? Take some ownership. And this is something that you would know based on your shows and the topics that you address. You should know I need to take accountability for my actions and at least pay the man 10 grand. You've had 3 years. This happened back in 2017. It's going on the 4th year now. And this guy can still hold this over your head. And that's where Zoe Williams is in the wrong. You can never do that where you have somebody who can hang that over your head and you feel cool enough to disrespect that man and tell that man how to be a friend to somebody else when you're a shitty friend to this man on the low. So Zoe, my advice, and that's if you want to take it or not, you need to pay that man his money before you could ever show face on that show again. And if you don't want to pay the man that money, then guess what? You will never be on that show again, and Corey will never be on your show again, and you guys won't fuck with each other at all anymore. And if that's the way you want to go about it, then hey, that's up to you guys. But you cannot come back there with your balls until you come back with 20 grand to slam on that table like some dominoes. And if you can't do that, then Zoe, you are the weakest link for real.
You said something about hypocritical shit. Hypocritical shit is when a nigga wear a mask until he get mad.
So that's my little take on the whole situation. Again, never put yourself on an uneven plane with one of your friends. If you owe them, pay them. Show them the intent. Pay what you can if you can't pay the full amount. Never let someone hang that over your head because the level of respect that you thought you had might not be there at all. Remember that. Anyways, I said enough. Until next time, pardon my presence. Peace.